Molweni, Kamalam Lihle, and I hope you guys are having the best time of your lives. Today's video is about what do the attorneys do in the transfer process. Now, there are normally three attorneys involved in the transfer process, namely the transfer attorney, the bond cancellation attorney, and the bond registration attorney. Now, the transfer attorney is the conveyancer that has been instructed to attend to the transfer of the property and registration at the deeds office. The bond cancellation attorney is the attorney that cancels the existing bond of the seller over the property and ensures that the bank receives the outstanding bond amount when the purchase price has been paid on registration. Lastly, the bond registration attorney. The bond registration attorney is the attorney that registers the purchaser's bond over the property. Now, with this one, it's important to know that the purchaser is responsible for his or her own bond payments. Now, I'm going to give you timeline for the relevant processes. This was prepared and sponsored by Cand.Property attorneys in preparation for my logbook that I submitted to the PPRA, and it was marked competent. So what's nice about this timeline or this process that I'm going to give you is it's been prepared in simple English, no legal jargon, and my clients really love it. So I'm just going to read it through. Now, timeline for the relevant processes. The entire process from the concluding of the OTP to the registration should take no more than 3 months. However, there can be complications that may slow the process down. The summary below provides you with a detailed registration process and attaches a time frame to the various steps. Now, step number 1, once the seller has accepted an offer to purchase, the buyer must produce proof that her bond application has been successful. So this should take about 3 weeks. Step number 2, the transfer attorney will apply for the following. Cancellation figures on the seller's bond. This should take about 1 to 30 days, depending on the bank. Rates, lights, water, and refuse removal clearance figures from the local authority, as well as levy figures from the body corporate or homeowners authority. This should take about 10 to 21 days. Now, the local authority will require copies of the buyer's and seller's identity documents and also a copy of the most recent rates and consumption accounts. Without these, the process can take up to 8 weeks. Step number 3, once the attorney has these documents, she will prepare the transfer papers. This should take about 1 week. Step number 4, the transfer attorney requests guarantees from the buyer's bond attorney, who is appointed by the bonding bank, and supplies a draft deed of transfer to prepare the buyer's bond documents. Step number 5, the buyer and seller then sign the transfer papers at the transfer attorney's office. Both parties must supply the following: their original identity document for FICA papers, and their income tax numbers. So now, without these, and in the event that the parties' personal income taxes are not up to date, SARS will cancel the sale. So this should take about a week. Step number 6, at this stage, the buyer is obliged to pay the transfer duty as well as the transfer attorney's fees and expenses. Step number 7, on receipt of guarantees from the bond attorney, the transfer attorney forwards the papers to the cancellation attorney at the bank that holds the seller's bond. Step number 8, the cancellation attorney sends the property's original title deed to the transfer attorney. Step number 9, the seller's bank prepares and signs the consent to cancellation papers. This should take about 8 to 14 days. Step number 10, the transfer attorney pays the transfer fee electronically to SARS and awaits a receipt. This should take about 14 to 35 days. Step number 11, the transfer attorney pays the final rates and utility amounts to the local authority, body corporate, and or homeowners authority. Step number 12, the transfer attorney draws up new deed of transfer papers. Step number 13, the transfer attorney collects all outstanding documents, including the electrical compliance certificate that the seller is obliged to provide. Step 14, the documents are processed by the deeds office. This should take about 5 to 10 days, provided that there are no errors and the paperwork does not have to be resubmitted. So yeah, that should take about 5 to 10 days. Sorry. Step number 15, the transfer, new bond, and cancellation of the existing bond are registered simultaneously. Step number 16, the bond attorney advises the bank once registration has happened and the guarantees are paid over to the attorney. Are paid over to the transfer attorney. Step 17 and the last. On receipt of these funds, the transfer attorney finalizes her accounts and pays the proceeds to the seller and the commission to the agent, refunding credit that is due to the seller within 12 months. So that is it from me. I wish the above information was clear and informative. Now that the year has come to an end, 2023 has had its highs and lows, with the property industry proving that has grit and resilience to overcome any challenges. So now that encourages us to continue focus on making positive changes in our lives and other people's lives. So from me, thank you for your support, and I wish you all a peaceful holiday season. Thank you for watching. Till next time.